A reading from the Gospel of Mark. Jesus summoned the 12 and said to them, "You know that those who are recognized as rulers over the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones make their authority over them felt. But it shall not be so among you. Rather, whoever wishes to be great among you will be your servant. Whoever wishes to be first among you will be the slave of all. For the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." In today's gospel, Jesus is very clearly talking about the Roman Empire and its leaders. Yet, he somehow does it while still being indirect and subversive. This is yet another indication of Jesus being smarter than everyone else, because the Jewish people he is speaking to very clearly know who he is talking about. Whereas if a Roman citizen were to pass by, they wouldn't really get what Jesus was saying. It's almost paradoxical how he can both say and not say what he means at the same time. But it speaks to the level of Jesus' intelligence, especially when you compare him to the lower class Jewish people of the first century. Specifically, Jesus is talking about the leadership of the Roman Empire when he says, "You know that those who are recognized as rulers over the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones make their authority over them felt." Notice how he uses the word Gentiles here. If we note how Jesus often criticizes the Sadducees and Pharisees, using the word Gentile means that he is not talking about them in this instance. Why? Because they are Jews, of course, not Gentiles. And who are the Gentile leaders who love to make their presence known? The higher-ups of the Roman Empire. Anyone who dared challenge their authority would be met with a swift resistance, as made evident to how Jesus eventually is crucified for treason against the Roman Empire. Yet, Jesus avoids being charged with treason for a few years because of his skill and ability to vaguely subvert, which means undermining the authority of a government without the Romans really noticing it. It took them about 3 years for them to really see what he was saying, because he did it in a language that the Jews understood and not the Gentiles. Yet he does it in a peaceful manner. He is quite simply smarter than everyone else. So for us, we too might get in a situation where we need to stand up against those who are recognized as rulers who lord it over others. And Jesus gives us a recipe of how to stand up while doing it peacefully. First, we can find a way to subvert the modern-day authority. If we can do it in a way where government officials might not get it, but the common people do, even better. Second, we need to call them into question in a peaceful way. Violence is not the way of Jesus. But most of all, if we are going to have the courage to follow Jesus' example, we should be ready to accept the consequences, even if it means that we too end up on a cross.